Ignite to impact.
Do you struggle sometimes to do the things that make you happy? Is it the end of the day and you suddenly realize you haven't done a single thing that you enjoy? Have you tried to find the time for things that make you happy and you enjoy, but you find yourself mentally and physically exhausted? Well, we want to get answers, tips, and advice on how to deal with these questions and more in today's conversation about finding me time when there is no free time during difficult times. Welcome. I'm Dr. Geneva, your podcast host, bringing insightful conversations with successful people to inspire you to create extraordinary impact in your business, in your everyday personal life, and in the community. Now, me time. Well, what does that mean? Well, the dictionary defines me time as the time a person has to himself or herself in which to do something for his or her own enjoyment. In other words, bottom line, the time you take to do for you. And as women today, particularly today, we've been told we can have it all: families, kids, community, leadership, relationships, families, everything. But too often, having it all means that we have no strength or time left for ourselves. And that is so important. And we know that research tells us that women today are perhaps less happy than they've been over the past 4 decades. And there can be many reasons for that. Certainly, lack of time is one. But the other is there's such a tremendous amount of stress and expectations put on women. We're parents, we're professionals, we're business women, we're mothers, we're wives. We have all these roles. And so sometimes doing all this stuff leaves very little time for ourselves. And, we really just don't sometimes have the energy to do what perhaps we need to do. And we taking time for ourselves is so important. It helps us reboot ourselves, reboot our brains, gives us a place and a time to help discover ourselves. When you take time for you and find that space, you can do some real deep thinking about what it is you want to be, what it is you're doing. But you can only do that if you take that time for yourself. And finding time for ourselves also helps us unwind and relax and, makes us more productive, and we're better and happier to be with. And I know for me, being at the age that I am, I like to find even more ways to concentrate more. I concentrate differently. Things were different for me when I was in my 40s than they are now for me in my 70s. And so I find that one of the most valuable things about taking me time is that it helps improve my concentration. Hey, listen, as women, we've got to find that me time. And it's doubly hard now because we're now in the pandemic, but if you're listening to this podcast 5 years from now and you're not in a pandemic, I'm sure there will be some kind of difficult times. Hope it's not a pandemic, but, difficult times are really a part of life. So how do you find that me time during difficult times? Well, guess what? Hold your horses. I've got a fabulous, fabulous guest with us today that's going to help us through all this. Rashida Williams, founder and CEO of the Glam Doctor. Now, Rashida is an award-winning makeup artist, educator, mentor, public speaker who transforms lives by unlocking inner beauty. Isn't that cool? Her professionalism, skill, exceptional service have really caused her to become a sought after rising star in the beauty industry. And she began her journey in 2001. And in just a few years, her clientele had grown significantly. And she felt she needed to expand her reach, which she did. And she became the Glam Doctor, really helping so many women and being sought after for her expertise and experience. And she has a team in Atlanta, a Glam R Us team that operates through mobile makeup and hair team. And her home base, the Glam Doctor studio, is here in Metro Detroit. And so we're so delighted and have this nationally acclaimed and known beauty star expert. But the thing I love most about Rashida is she has not neglected her love for the community and her desire to see women empowered. So she created I Am Superb, a community outreach program for helping young women build their confidence and self-esteem. And so, hey, every day, Rashida is working to help women release their inner glam. So you see why she's perfect to join us today. How you doing, Rashida?
I am wonderful. How are you today, Dr. Geneva? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so delighted. Let's jump right in. So tell me what you think about this whole notion of me time and what it means, particularly now during any difficult time.
You know, during this time especially, you know, it's been really important because of all that we're dealing with mentally and trying to, you know, find some balance and some sense of normalcy. That's the thing that is important to me about. That's what me time is meaning to me right now. I mean, that getting that me time is so important because I've been feeling so overwhelmed with so many things that are happening that I have to do something to bring a balance back to myself, if that makes sense. And so that's why it's so important. And it's been difficult to find that, but just, you know, being creative in this time has been really the thing I've been doing most.
Oh, wow. So when you say being creative, what does that mean? Being creative? Help us understand that.
So like for me, normally what I was doing, like, you know, I had started and you helped me with this.
Oh,
you know,
really?
Last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year you helped me with, you know, being able to figure out about making sure that I was not neglecting myself and about getting, you know, me time, you know, being basically self-care. Your self-care campaign.
Yes.
And so I had started I had made sure every Monday I was doing something, whether I was getting massages like every Monday or every other Monday. I was getting pedicures. I was just doing something for me. So now couldn't really do that. So I had started walking by the water. That was really good for me. I was making sure that I just spent time sitting in my living room, just like kind of meditating. I found that to be so great for me mentally, to be able to just sit and think and not have to worry about anything else, you know, so at that time. So being creative in those moments. You know, I started buying, I always like candles, but I started buying more candles and lighting them so I can have the scent. That was something good for me as well, for self-care, for myself. So it was little things, you know, that, you know, I bought myself a really nice journal. It was really beautiful. And I just started, I'm not really a person that journals, but I just got it because it was beautiful and I started writing in it. And so just small little things like that. Nothing big, nothing, of course, you know, like I said, expensive because we can't really get out to do anything. So those are things that I found myself doing, just sitting on the porch, taking in the fresh air. That was like really dope for me. Yet you never really realize, you know, it's until this time that we couldn't do things, what the little things really mean.
Yes. And so Glam Doctor, you work with so many women. I mean, again, from celebrities to homemakers. And what are women telling you? What do they say to you about me time and finding time for themselves?
A lot of my friends are finding it difficult because they are homeschooling their children now. So that is one of the biggest things I hear my friends and, family talk about, is trying to make sure that they're not neglecting the family or neglecting their children, but they've got to be so hands-on now with other things that they wouldn't have necessarily had to do if their children were in school. And so that is one of the bigger things that I'm hearing about from my friends and family, or just trying to, like, a lot of my friends, some of them they were movie people. So going to the movies is a big deal. Like, during the daytime when the kids were at school or having their own time, they can't go to the movies now. So now it's trying to, figure out, your iPad or something in your room where you can be alone and watch a movie. It's so funny, but like people finding stuff like that. So those are things I'm hearing from my friends, in terms of even going to the hair salon, even going to the nail shop now is difficult for them because you can't really get in unless you make an appointment. Making an appointment is difficult because they're overloaded. Like one of my favorite spots I like to go to support, it's a Black-owned business. I can't even get in there now because of the appointment. You got to have an appointment, so you can't walk in. So it's like, oh man,
Yeah, it's tough finding it. Yeah, and I know what you mean about the movies, because I'm telling you, I love movies. I'm a movie freak, and I would. All the time when things got tough or I was overwhelmed, I'd look at my watch and say, and I would jump in my car and go to my favorite movie theater and sit there and get my popcorn. Of course, I had to have my popcorn. Yeah, get the popcorn. Get my popcorn, into my favorite, again, because I like to row. I like to be like kind of in the middle, and would go and just enjoy a movie. I would do that once, twice a week sometimes, as one of those me time things. And I know what you feel. And my husband used to use golf for that. And so, and so, because when you go on the golf course, you're talking minimum 2-3 hours if you're going to play 18 holes. Okay. Yeah. And think about it, just being somewhere, seeing that greenery, being outside, beautiful weather, and away from everything for like 2 or 3 hours, and just being into yourself in a sport. And so whether it's that or the movie theater, when you just put that image in your mind, it just is so relaxing.
Yes.
But you can't do much of that now. So what are the women doing now as you're making now? Are you still doing makeup?
I am still doing makeup very safely, of course. Okay. A lot of precautions are taken now. Okay. I have to, provide extra time with clients now because of that reason. So I'm now where I was maybe can get a client done in 40 minutes. I have them out the door. It's about an hour of service now because of the cleaning, because of the extra precautions with making sure that they're safe. And I'm safe, and making sure the products are safe to use, and so that has been the I would say it's not really a big challenge, but it's just the adjustment for what I do. So just having to adjust in that way.
And I know that when I've gotten my makeup done by you, and I've just I sit into your chair and get up, like looking like a different woman. Ooh,
yes,
you just do your thing. But I know you always have, good positive things to talk about, and tips and advice. So these days when women are, complaining and worrying and being anxious about, they can't jump up and go to the movie theater when they need a break, what are you telling them?
You know what? I'm telling them to just find other things to do that's going to help them inwardly. So getting a book. Some people haven't been avid readers, getting a book, finding something new to do that's going to help them. Because some people, and this is going to sound really funny, a few of my friends have started coloring. They've gotten coloring books, and they actually sell adult coloring books.
Yes, they do.
So that is something that's been helping to relax people's anxiety, and making them feel a little better, about just, what's going on. Because this is the thing, Dr. Geneva, we don't know what normal going to look like anymore. What we know is normal is no longer. So just having to, vacillate, about that a lot. So that is what some of my friends have been doing. A lot of my friends have been, people that I talk to have been, walking. Mm-hmm. A lot of them they're really tired of being on calls and video calls because they want to have the human interaction with people directly. So actually a lot of people also, now we're, getting to fall, but people were going to the park, going to, restaurants where they could be outside in social distance, and be different place, even just meeting up somewhere and just being social distance from each other, just to have some human interaction is some of the things that, that people have been doing that I've been, talking to and things like that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, them coloring books, I'm a coloring booker. Is that what you call it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, however you say it, yes, indeed. And I got this tip. I'm trying to think. I was talking with someone. I was doing a podcast interview. And in fact, if anybody wants, I'm going to find it and I'll put it in the show notes for this podcast. I'll refer to it. But I was talking to one of my guests and they were talking about coloring books. I said, and how coloring is very therapeutic and relaxing. So the next day I went on Amazon and I ordered me some coloring books and some coloring pencils, and it is wonderful.
Wow. Okay.
It really is. Awesome, it really is. It's wonderful. And I understand there's some app too, where you can color on your phone or color, with an app too as well. But it's fabulous. Okay. But one of the things so I want to talk about is, coloring book, the walking, all that's good. A lot of this finding me time is the actual finding time part.
God.
Finding the time and then managing that time. So what do you think about that? Just time, just the whole nature of
the time, getting the time, Dr. Geneva.
Yes.
So listen, let me just give a quick testimony. Okay. Last week I was, in the last couple of weeks, I've had some losses in my life. And also on this week, and I don't even talk about this often with people, is the anniversary of my baby that passed away 16 years ago, that was born. And so this time of year is always a little bit challenging for me. And so I made an impulsive decision to jump up and go out of town. I haven't been out of town in a long time, just to fly somewhere. And I knew my daughter would be with her father. And so he and I partnered. He keeping her for the week for me. The times that I would have had it, he's keeping her the entire week. And I bought a plane ticket to go out of town. And I called my girl and I was like, none of my friends, they work. So I was like, I had nobody to go with me. But I called my one girlfriend who is an entrepreneur as well. And she was like, yeah, let's just do it. And we did an impulsive trip. And
I love it.
And I'm here now in Vegas and I'm gonna tell you, Dr. Geneva, I just really came to just relax, to get in the pool, to just look out the window, to walk around. I came for no other reason than to think about Rashida.
And so how does that feel?
Often. It feels amazing. Like I'm planning my second trip for January, Dr. Geneva. It feels so good.
I love it. And so what made you do it? I mean, so this was an impulsive move.
Yes.
Right?
So a friend of mine passed away. Who was a very good friend. He really encouraged me a lot. His name was Eric Pope. I gotta say his name because he meant so much to me. He was a genuine friend to me, and he really always supported me and has watched me grow from an 18-year-old girl into a woman, a businesswoman. He always applauded me, and so he died suddenly. It wasn't expected. And when I tell you, it rocked me. It rocked me to my core. And I'm grieving, and I haven't been able to properly grieve because I wasn't able to go I went to the family hour, but I wasn't able to go to the service because I was working. And so just having a lot of displaced grief right now. And with losing so many with COVID, I just had to get out of here. I had to get out of there. And I felt like things were caving in on me, and I was like, I've got to just see something different, have a different scenery, and that's what where I was. Does that make sense? You know,
hey, it made sense for you, right?
Yeah, something I've never done before. I've never been impulsive like this before, and I feel good about it.
And why do you feel good about it?
Because I did something for me unapologetically and didn't think about anybody else but myself.
And the world didn't. So the world didn't cave in.
Nope, didn't cave in.
Your daughter Carrington's still good.
Yes.
The people you love, and you're there with good people. So
yes, I'm here with one of my closest friends, Carla. We having a good time.
Yeah, the world didn't shift.
Yeah, the world didn't shift. Nope.
I mean, it didn't shift. But you feel 100% better. Is that what I'm hearing?
I do. I really do.
Yeah. That's what I mean about that's what's so important for you to just step out and just do your thing. It feels great.
Yes, it does. It really does. And and for me, and I'm a person always telling women about making sure they get self-care, and I do it on that small scale, but I've never done anything, just impulsive. And I think that for me, I have a new perspective about self-care and being selfish with it.
Okay.
I have a whole different perspective.
Okay. And so tell us about that perspective. What is that perspective now?
Is that you as a person, especially as women, we have to do what we need to do at any cost to get to a great place mentally for ourselves. Because if we don't do that, we will crash and burn. I felt myself on the crashing end, Dr. Geneva. And if we crash and burn, then we're no good to anybody. Then I can't take care of my daughter. I can't take care of my business. I can't take care of my friends. I can't be what I need to be normally. I can't even be my normal self if I don't feel like my normal self.
Right.
Okay. And so this is making me, I feel like it's almost like the balancing beam, like the scales, it's like, okay, now it's evening back out. Like I was on the down end of it. No. And I now feel like I'm even and like it's coming back up and the scales are balancing. That's what I feel like.
And so say a little bit more about how because to do this, Rashida, you had to find some time. I mean, you're not where you are, didn't jump in and go to Las Vegas and spend the night and come back.
Nope.
I mean, you spend in a few days. So,
yes.
So this question about how do you find the time? So how did you find the time?
How did I find the time? I looked at my schedule and I made a decision, okay, because people could potentially call me to work. And I looked at my schedule for the week and I said, I looked at, I can be, these are the days my daughter's gone. And I was like, okay, I need maybe an extra day. So I need to call and ask for help on that to make sure that I can get the time, which I had to have my ex-husband, partner with me on that, And so I literally had to look at my schedule and say, I'm going to do it. And when I tell you, I've gotten calls, people that want their makeup done and different things done. And I said, no, I'm so sorry. I can't take care of you. Okay. But I can have someone else do it. And so that was really different for me because I'm used to always saying, okay, let me just take care of everybody else. Because of the nature of the business. I mean, I take care of you guys. I make sure that everyone's looking good for their events, photo shoots, whatever they're doing. And I always am on the back burner with those things because I make sure my clients are good. But now I am working to find a balancing act. I am working to say no and put other parameters in place so that when I need to do things for myself, I can do those things and I don't feel guilty about them and I don't feel like people are losing. But let me tell you this, Dr. Geneva. If in the process someone has to lose, it's not going to be me anymore.
All right. So now you said a whole bunch of stuff in that, explanation that helping us understand how you found the time. So you relied on others. You did, you reached out to Carrington's dad and you made arrangements there.
Yes.
You looked at your calendar and looked at your schedule. And then you said no.
Yes.
Some things. And that seems to be a technique right there. That is saying no. When we talk about how do you find free time, saying no.
You got to say no. That's the biggest thing. Because think about it, Dr. Geneva, we all got something we doing or could be doing every day.
We all busy.
Yeah, we all busy. So I had to say, nope. You know what? This week is going to be about. It's going to be about what Rashida needs to get for Rashida, so I can recharge. Because even like the phone, you know, we have to recharge stuff because we keep going and going and going. Eventually, it's going to burn out.
That's right. That's right. And that's a wonderful analogy. Boy, I'm going to use that because get us right with your smartphone. If you every day you got to charge it.
You got to charge that bad boy.
That's right. So if you're going to spend every day, if you can every day charge your phone, you should be able to every day charge yourself. You think?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I love what you said at the end. You were saying if somebody's going to lose out, it's not going to be me.
Nope. Because guess what?
So what's that mean?
Because like I said, just seeing so much death around me. And it's been unexpected. Like people not even sick, you know, and you know what? I can't, no, I can no longer self-sacrifice in that way to where I am the person on the losing end. Because if I drop dead tomorrow, God forbid, life is going to go on for everybody else. And so I want to live my life. I want to live every day. I want to live. That is where I am right now. I want to live.
Yes. And so putting together,
not exist.
Yeah, that's right. And so are you going to do this some more?
I am.
Is this going to become part of your lifestyle?
Every 90 days. We already talking about a January trip already.
Okay. All right.
And so I'm going to tell you, Dr. Geneva, I'm not a person, like I don't splurge on like clothes and things. Like I dress nice, but I'm very frugal when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm going to start splurging on some trips and having some experiences. Okay. Because a lot in my life, and that's a whole other podcast, you know, when I was married, I didn't do these things. Okay. Because of scheduling. But now I'm like, not no more. Okay. All right. Well, I love it. Good.
Yeah, it feels good, you know, and that's the thing about feeling good, you know, doing things for ourselves, things we enjoy, we deserve it. And it's a matter of finding the time. And so we've talked about several ways you can find time. One of them is just say no. Another is to reach out to others to support and help you, particularly those people that you're always supporting and helping. You know, that's another tip. Look at your schedule and what it is that you actually have on your calendar, because there's so many things that often can be readjusted or you know, handled in another way if you're just intentional about it. And that's what I think you were, Glam Doctor. When you pulled out your schedule and you looked at it in your head, you saw Las Vegas. You know, so you had this vision of Las Vegas. That's what you wanted to do. And then you figured everything else out.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And that's, so again, those are, you know, just really some really great tips. And this saying no is another time saver, finding free time tip to say no and say it nicely. Tell me how you say it, Glam Doctor, because we don't have to be mean when we say no, do we?
No.
What do you say?
You know, I'm so sorry. I'm unavailable right now. I'm so sorry. I'm unable to do that today for you.
For you. Yeah, but you know, that when you say it like that, it gives me the feeling that, well, you may not be available today, but you ain't gonna leave me. I can be able to come back to you at some other time for some service.
Exactly.
And so a lot of times it's how you say things.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know what? I had a teacher, Mr. Mallory, he's a preacher right now. He's a pastor right now. He told us something as kids in high school. When I was on debate team, he said, Rashida, he said, you all can tell somebody to go to hell in such a way that they will look forward to the trip. I never forgot that. That was talking about how you talk to people and your delivery. And so I've always been conscious of that. Since I was a kid, I've been kind. So you're right. It's how you say it. Like and Dr. Geneva, I love my clients. Like my clients are very loyal. So I move heaven and hell for y'all. And if I have to say no to you, it's something I can't really do. But I move everything around to take care of my clients, because most of my clients are of a certain caliber, and they're doing certain things. So I know what you all need. And when you call me, you really need me because you're doing something important in your life. So I make sure that, my life, I adjust as much as I can, and I will not always do it. I've been over backwards because I love what I do. What I understand about what I do, I'm a part of your self-care.
Yes.
And so I'm a person that serves people, and in serving people, when you are of a service mindset and you're not chasing money, because it's a difference. I'm here to serve you. I get paid to do it. It's nice. But I love the fact I get to serve you and make you feel a certain kind of way. And when you leave my presence, or when you're in my presence, it makes you feel more confident. It makes you feel more bold. It makes you feel like when you step on the stage, like you can do anything. You can tell people to buy this $1,000 package and they gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you feel good. And so that is, why what I do is so important. So that's why, Rashida, I have to now do that same thing for myself and get what I'm giving out.
So if people want to get in touch with you and get hold of some of that Glam Doctor and release their inner beauty, what's the best way to connect with you?
So all of my social media is the Glam Doctor, and doctor is spelled all the way out, TheGlamDoctor. My website is theglamdoctor.com. And my phone number is 888-345-4227.
Repeat that one more time.
Everything?
Sure.
Okay, everything. Okay, all of my social media is the Glam Doctor. Doctor is spelled all the way out, TheGlamDoctor. And my website is theglamdoctor.com. And you can reach me at 888-345-4227.
Thank you so much. And I wanted you to repeat it because, hey, I know there's someone listening to this podcast that really wants to connect with you and has been inspired by you. And Glam Dr. Rashida Williams, I just am so grateful that you spent some time with me today. We always have some great conversations.
We always do.
Yes. And this one on finding me time when there's no free time in difficult times, has been a really special conversation. So I'm going to have you back. We'll talk about some other topics, but just want to thank you so much for spending your time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoy it as always, Dr. Geneva.
Yes. And, I keep telling you, my listeners, you need to let others know about this podcast, Ignite to Impact. I want you to listen and like it and tell your friends about it. I want you to go to my website and sign up for my email community, at drgenevaspeaks.com. And we just have such a good time. And it's part of what I do to bring you really awesome folk. And so whether you want better results in your life or in your career or your community, if you're eager to hear some great advice, particularly some leadership advice, or you just want to be inspired to make good things happen, this podcast, Ignite to Impact, is for you. For a better world and a legacy that matters.
Ignite to Impact.